this live self-defense training video, we're going to be talking about stick self-defense, simple stick self-defense using your Cane Masters self-defense walking cane. It's just a simple cane. It has a little bit wider crook here so that your hand can go in it. This is a basic warm-up move that you're going to do with your Cane Masters cane or any other walking cane for self-defense. This is going to build some callus on your hands, which allows you to slide the cane through your hand a little bit faster. It's also going to improve your grip strength. It's going to improve your timing and distance on all your strikes. It's also going to allow you to strike for self-defense using this basic simple motion for spinning. So you're going to start with this warm-up here, palm facing the sky. The long side of your cane comes out of your thumb, and you're going to crank it around, just pushing and pulling, making this small motion. After you do this about 30 seconds on one hand, you're going to go across the body and back, making this figure 8 spin, keeping the other hand up and out of the way, stomach up and in, abs tight, tuck your chin. This is just for training, just for a warm-up. You wouldn't do this in self-defense, but you might bring it up under his groin or up under the hand and then crank him down on the top of his head for self-defense. Hello, Alita, it's good to see you. So you will use the spins. You might bring it across and back and then down, bring it up on the other side. So the spin is very important in practice. You want to do a lot in practice. You do about 30 seconds here. When you're ready, throw it to the other hand, and you're doing the same thing. Your palm is facing up, the long side comes out of your thumb. Hey, Michael. Michael said he got his stick out of the car. Good, we can train together. Palm up. It's really good for building proprioception in your hands too, so that your hand kind of has a brain of its own when it comes to using the stick for self-defense. We can do these simple self-defense stick techniques with your Cane Masters walking cane. It would be far more effective because of this spinning. So again, this spinning is almost like a slap across his face, followed by a backhand on the other side of his face for self-defense. Coming side to side, keep your stomach up and in, abs tight, tuck your chin, breathe. In through the nose, out through the mouth. This should get your heart rate up a little bit. If you can, you're going to take this. Hello, James, it's good to see you. James is here. Take this, put it on the floor. You're going to stand behind it, have it out at an angle, and then you're going to push your hips back and down and do some air squats, assisted air squats. That means your arms are taking some of the weight off your legs. This is going to improve your mobility. No matter how strong you are now or how mobile you are, this is going to add to that. Then later when you have to defend yourself and move to the side and strike, if you can do that, then you'll be able to because of these squats. Yeah, Marshall Oil said, I'd be proud of his fat calluses on his hands. Congratulations. It's a good sign that you're making good progress and you're training consistently. If you needed a cane for mobility, so in other words, if you picked up your cane, you're going to fall to the ground, you can use two, one in each hand, one to lean into, and the other to strike with these simple self-defense strikes using the simple self-defense stick with your Cane Masters walking cane. This is just a real straight Cane Masters. This is the Dojo training cane. That's like an entry-level cane. That's what I use the most to train with. It's one of my new favorites. You can find all these different variations on the Cane Masters website. All right, so we did this going back and forth. The next thing I want to show you, as you warm up, as you train, is you're going to bring your hand up along the shaft, and you're going to practice this type of a spinning motion with your hand closed. Your hand is not, you're not going to open it like this. That makes it too easy. You're not Charlie Chaplin or Charlie Chan or whoever he was. You're keeping your hand closed so that you can increase the strength in your wrists. Your wrists are going to get really, really strong. Yeah, Michael says this cane is a beauty. It certainly is. It's a beautiful color and it has a beautiful feel. It's hickory. I'm not sure what they call the color of the finish that's on it, but this hickory cane will hit extremely hard for self-defense. So you're doing this motion, this spinning from side to side. It's just simple carving a figure 8 with your thumb. And the purpose of this is to, again, build power in those forearms so that later when you have to defend yourself, especially against a stronger opponent, a bigger person, or multiple attackers, you have great grip strength because of this. and all your strikes are gonna come so much faster. So practicing this, just 30 seconds, put it in the other hand, practice it for 30 seconds, always practice keeping your other hand up, out of the way, ready to block your head, defending yourself. And then if you want, you can do another set of assisted squats, or I like to put it in one hand, use the other foot to step into a lunge forward, and then stepping backward into a lunge. Step in, bend, step back to your starting position, step back and bend. And by adding these extra exercises for your legs, you're gonna build a powerful foundation. When you fight, especially boxing or any striking, all the power in your legs, or all the power in your strikes come through your legs first, through your feet. So the same thing is true if you're using a stick, a short stick for self-defense, all the power is coming through your feet, your legs, your hips, in through your spine, and then through the shoulders, twisting through the hips. So you have to have really strong legs, and if you can add a few sets here, air squats, and then stepping lunges forward and stepping backward. It doesn't have to be a deep bend, just a little bit more than what you're used to. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you as far as strikes go is starting with the cane in the traditional way. That means the crook side facing backward. You're going to either slide your hand down and pick it up. I think that's the safest way to get it between you and the threat. The other thing you can do is just lift and let it slide, drop down into your hand. Eventually, you'll do it without even thinking about it. But I want you to practice, anytime you do some strikes on this side, always do the same number on the opposite side. I'm gonna start here in my right hand, your left foot will be forward, bending. Notice that you picked up your hand and you put it between you and the threat. Put the stick between you and the threat. You wanna interrupt his line of sight. You wanna make it so that he can't see you. Now, one of the great advantages of simple stick self-defense with your Cane Master self-defense cane is that the typical size is 36 inches. I've got one here. Don't break the camera. This one is 38 inches. So it's a bit longer, but both of them are way longer than this blade. And so if someone pulls out a blade, is coming at you, threatening you with this, you have reach advantage. So you're gonna use your cane, you're gonna put it between you and the threat. You're always gonna fight behind your stick. Pick it up, it's between you and him. The first motion for self-defense is just a simple thrust. Think about a jab, a boxer's jab, smashing him in his face, keeping him back, creating distance between you and him, and then you're gonna pull your shoulder, and then your first angular strike is gonna come off your shoulder. Think of from your shoulder through your hip. Think of from his temple to his jaw, or maybe into his neck, or into his shoulder, or into the joint, which breaks easier than the bone for self-defense. The question you ask yourself is, what can you remove or destroy? His ability to be awake, his ability to see, his ability to breathe temporarily or permanently, his ability to breathe and stand up. Maybe it's taking out his knee, taking out that hand that's coming at you with the punch, the choke, the stab, the slash with his knife, smashing. So from here, you're in this position, you're minding your own business. Aggressive person's coming up, he's screaming, yelling, he's getting in your face, he's coming fast, maybe he's silent, but you can see his intent. You slide down, you say, back up, I will defend myself. Your other hand is immediately up, you can thrust, and then from your shoulder, striking down from the other shoulder. So you just practice this X pattern first, coming off your shoulders. Always fight from behind your stick. You want it here, so that if he runs in here, you grab it here, shove it, smash his face, reach in with that nasty tooth, and rip some of the flesh off of his face for self-defense. So from here, bending the knees, put it between you and him. Never strike from out here. A lot of people will do this just naturally. Yeah, Wonderful 781 says, this is great stuff for seniors. Seniors, if you have some physical challenge, you're born a certain way, maybe you lost a limb in an accident, in the war, you have mobility issues, you have spinal cord issues, there's all kinds of reasons why we might need a cane. I have an artificial hip replacement, and I need a hip replacement. So some days it hurts a lot and I use my cane, some days I don't use it as much. But it's a great Green Man option. You can take it anywhere and everywhere you go. You can take it on the plane, you can take it into the courthouse, you can take it into the ball game. We had another ball game today down here, we're in spring training. the Nationals and the Astros are playing, you want to go see them play in spring training, you've got to go through a metal detector. They're going to take everything from you except your Cane Master self-defense walking cane. You can take this anywhere and everywhere you go. So from here, bending the knees, sliding down, put it between you and the threat, thrusting, always coming off the shoulders, never from out here. If you come from out here to strike and he closes that distance, your arm's gonna wrap around him, he's not even gonna feel it. He's closing that distance and you're coming off your shoulder as you push and turn through your shoulders and hips, he's going to run into it. Yeah, Marshall Oil says you don't have to be a senior to use it. I'm marching towards seniorhood. I'm this close. Every day I'm closer, but I'm not technically a senior, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to be a senior. You can be 22 and have a need for it, or 22 and you want a self-defense option. You can take anywhere and everywhere you go. They're not allowed to ask you, why do you need that? That's your personal information. And in this country, it's called the HIPAA laws, the Health Information Portability and Privacy Act or something like that, privacy and portability. Anyway, it says that you don't have to share why you're, anything to do with your personal medical information. Yeah, Scotty says that pro tip, it'll get you to the front of the line at the amusement parks and a lot of other places too. All right, so you bend the knees, put it between you and him, thrust off the shoulders. You have these angle strikes down. You can also strike at an angle coming up. That might be useful. You're here, he comes in quickly and he's trying to get you with the knife, slashing, stabbing, choking, punching, hitting you with his tool. Maybe he's got one of those expandable batons. You still have reach advantage. And you smash that arm, breaking his wrist, knocking it from his hand for self-defense. Maybe you come into his thigh, into his ribs, into the side of the head for self-defense. So you have these angle strikes that come up. So you have thrusting, angle down, angle up, coming from the other side, always fighting behind your stick. And then a horizontal strike with your palm facing the sky so that it doesn't pop out of your hand. It's here. Your finger's gonna slide right off. Strike here, and then down on top of the head. Once you do those basic angles of strikes, put in the other hand, bend the knees, put the other foot forward, hand up, thrust, shoulder, starting on the hip, coming from the other hip, coming across horizontal, and then down on top. The next thing you can see is I'm going to turn it so that the crook is facing you. From here, you're gonna bring it straight up. Just like you're reaching out your hand to shake his hand. He's coming at you with menacing intent. He's trying to hurt you, kill you, stab you, choke you, beat you, throw something at you, to harm you, take away your freedom, your life, your dignity, hurt your family, your wife, your child, your grandchild. Your cane comes straight up and intercepts. Stop maybe right between his legs. Maybe it's that hand again, maybe it's up under the chin with the tip of that cane. From here, you're gonna turn your palm to the sky, you're gonna crank it back to your ear, and then you're gonna smash straight down to the top of his head for self-defense. So this is a two-strike combination. It has that spin in it, brings it up, brings it down, put it in the other hand, practice the same amount. If you do 30 seconds on the right, do 30 seconds on the left. You wanna become ambidextrous. You wanna be as good with your right as you are with your left. In this first basic motion, all your strikes, you want to be as good from side to side in case you need it. Like I said before, you might be having to use a cane, move that over, for mobility. You have to lean onto it so you don't fall. Scotty asked, any advice for carrying the cane, walking the dog? You can carry it like this. Think of old pictures you see of cops, bobbies or whatever in London, carry their umbrella like this, right? And some people train and practice sliding it down to the hand so that you can get it into your striking that way. So you can carry it like this if you want to. I've often carried my cane in a belt loop when I'm teaching, like when I have my traditional martial arts uniform. Sometimes I'll have a belt on and then I'll stick it in there as I want to demonstrate a hand technique without my cane. So there are different places you can put it if you wanted to do it like that. If you have an idea how to do it when you walk your dog, put that in the comment. Yeah, Marshall was talking about all the different angular strikes that are hard to stop if you really mean to defend yourself. And this is one of the things I find so frustrating sometimes when I talk to some people who are not familiar with a cane, who are critical. And they said, well, you can't effectively teach a 70-year-old man how to defend himself with a cane. And I'm like, most of my students are 70-year-old men or older, and they hit with speed and power, and they get better and better every week that they practice. And yeah, they could break bones, they can knock people out, they can adequately defend themselves and their families using their walking cane. So don't say, unless you've tested it and you've seen it, then don't go by your own limited belief. Find some people who've done it. I know plenty of people 70 plus who effectively learn how to and get more, and their flexibility comes back, right? Their mobility comes back. They start to become more agile again as they practice these basic patterns of stepping in and out and to the side and then striking and coming back. You don't have to be Errol Flynn, fighting with your cane. You don't have to be, dancy fancy coming all around. It can just be a one-step move to the side. It can be just stand your ground because you can't step to the side, lean into your other cane and smash him and bring it down on top of his head and bring it through and effectively defend yourself. So don't let anybody tell you can't defend yourself. That's a palm rest. The palm rest is a feature kind of invented or pioneered by cane masters. Cane masters is the gold standard of self-defense canes. They've been around the longest, and I think they're the highest quality you can get. You can lean into that. The palm rest takes a lot of the pressure off the wrist when it's in this position here. That ergonomically makes it easier on your whole body, it's stronger. And you can use that, that's another striking surface for self-defense. And through the throat, right? You can gouge with that, you can shove that right into this nerves in his face, the nerves in the top of his chest, the nerves in his neck. Maybe he's holding on to somebody, won't let go. Driving that down, either just pushing and pressing or thrusting and striking with that. So you can lean on one, strike with the other, and if you have that palm rest, it's a nice feature. You've been looking at the Cane Masters website and you think about, should I get the palm rest from the Cane Masters? I think the Cane Masters palm rest is a great feature. All right, so we're in this position, crook facing out. We brought it up, we brought it down over the top of his head. Think about bringing it across and back and then down. So a 3-strike combination, put it in the other hand, back, forth, and down. When you start to play around with this or practice better than playing around, I suppose. When you start to practice it, you'll get a feel for it, you'll get more control over it, and then when you need it, you will realize that you're able to generate maximum amounts of force and pressure with this basic technique. And the fact that your Cane Masters can be made out of hickory means it's going to be light, move fast, and hit extremely hard because of the weight that's involved. So this next technique, coming across, coming back, down on top, you can also bring it up at an angle and down at an angle. I think this way reminds me of the PR-24. Long when I was in the Marine Corps as a military policeman, we carried the side handle baton, also known as the PR-24, which is basically the Japanese or Okinawan tonfa, which is a martial arts tool, self-defense weapon. And so you're using it this way. It's very effective. You can throw that into a combination, build up your number of strikes, and go side to side, giving yourself a good workout. Itching to Scratch UK says hello from Wales. Hey, it's good to see you. Welcome from Wales. It's good to have the Welsh in the house. I don't know if that's the right term, but welcome anyway. So those are the basic strikes with the crook facing out. Philly Fathead's here, says Semper Fi, Philly Fathead. I was in church this morning. First thing we said to each other, the gentleman in front of me, to talk about the Marine Corps, Semper Fi. So I love seeing the Marines, especially down here where I live, tons of Marines. Former Marines, not ex-Marines, it's former, right? Once a Marine, always a Marine. I saw that written out somewhere this week too. So from this position, pop it up in your hand, put your hands up between you and the threat, back up, you're too close, and then you have a simple thrusting motion. Think about all that material. I like to think of it as a big fist, big knuckle. Smashing for self-defense, you can come in at the angle, up under the chin. That could be a fatal strike. You gotta watch that, it has to be purposeful, right? It's your life or his, and you're gonna go home. He's trying to harm your child, your grandchild, your wife, your significant other, you know, an innocent person, an innocent child, and you're able to defend using that jabbing, basic jabbing motion. The nice thing about that is that on the other side of that is that beveled edge. So you can literally go in, go past, and then a rip. And whatever that grabs a hold of, that'll either rake and it'll pull a tooth out of his mouth, that'll rip the nose off his face, it'll pop his eye out for self-defense, it'll rip the ear straight off his head for self-defense. The point is, it works for self-defense. So you have this big knuckle, you have this punching motion, think of a hooking motion. You can hook here, you can extend by twisting your wrist. You can hit him once and then twice with the long side coming across. You can reach in and hook and pull back. Think about an uppercut coming up under the chin, into the body, into the solar plexus. Maybe you're sitting and he's over top of you and you come straight up. Maybe he's in your face, he's got his hands on your neck. And the only thing you can do is put two hands there and ram that thing straight up into his jaw 3, 4, 5 times, reaching in and raking until he lets go for self-defense. So it's a really good close quarters combat option when we look at the CQB close quarters battle. With the Cane Master self-defense cane, it's just extremely versatile. So it's a distance weapon, but it's also a short range weapon. So think of jab, think of hook, think of uppercut, think of two hands smashing through his face, boxing his ears. Think of an axe, a fireman's axe, chopping down a door to get to the innocent babies, to get them out of the fire before they burn. That's this part here, reaching in, and you're gonna use it to chop down the bad guy who won't let go, who won't get out of your face, who keeps coming, who's trying to hurt you for self-defense. Yeah, Wonderful says 180-degree punch. I think I missed that one. Hank says MP, good to see you, Hank. So from here, sliding up, you put it between you and him. Your hands are between you and him. This hand can quickly come onto your head, striking for self-defense. You can also throw this as an elbow to create some distance as you grab, strike in here. Maybe he's taking hold of your cane. His intent is to pull it, so he's wrestling with this arm, and you step in and strike with the other one. He's not expecting that. So there are a lot of things you can do. Make sure the other hand gets up. Thrust, hook, uppercut, and then turning this way. Hank says, wild looking stick, it looks light. This was actually hickory under that deep stain. And it's actually heavier than you would think. It's heavier than this. It's a little bit more narrow. Has more material taken off than this oak cane. But as I hold them, and I'm not a measuring, what do they call it? I'm not a scale. But this is a lot lighter than this. This is oak, this one's hickory. So it is heavy. It's not as heavy as this one, but this one's about 3 inches, 2 or 3 inches longer. So it's pretty effective. I love the way it feels. You're able to use it, manipulate it very quickly, using it like, a bayonet, strike, rifle butt, strike, smashing, pushing him back, straight through his nose, through his teeth. From this position, crook facing out, pop it up. It's between you and him. The other hand always up to, even if that punch is coming in and you're gonna get caught by it, and you can put your hand here. If you got a wolf coming at you trying to get your legs, or a pit bull, put your hand here, stopping him. Even if you do get hit, you're gonna absorb a lot of that and then still be able to operate your cane in your other hand. John asked if I'm still friends with Superfoot. I've never really been friends with Superfoot. I've met him over the years. I used to live in Ohio, he lived in Indiana. So I would go to his tournaments, he would come to our tournaments when we had the big tournament. We started a tournament years before the Arnold Schwarzenegger Fitness Weekend, which is going on this weekend. But then we merged for a while and it became, it became smaller because the martial arts thing was always much bigger. The Arnold show was much more smaller, it was more concentrated. But we would bring him in all through the years, and then I met him down here. He lives not far from me, and he trains at a gym that I go to from time to time. I have not seen him lately, except I have seen him online. But I'd love to get to, I see there's so many famous people down here. It's crazy. Charlie asked, what length do you recommend the cane? Best thing to do, Charlie, is if you measure from the break in your wrist to the floor, that should be about the length of your cane. So that when you put your hand on it, as it bends, it's nice and comfortable. You can see, I'll show you the longer cane. This one's too long for me. I need to get the saw out. I got plenty of saws. I need to get the saw out and cut it. See how my elbow's bent? That's too much stress on my shoulder, on my joints to use effectively as a mobility cane. This size is perfect, especially if you carry it in that position with the crook facing out, because you can lean into it. Think of, Irish shillelagh style. Yeah, Hank says we don't train to fight dogs. Some dogs, especially around here, there've been a lot of attacks lately. Yeah, Hank says we can think like them, that's for sure. We are human animals after all. All right, so we have the crook facing out. We talked about these strikes, talked about popping it up, using the thrust, the hook, smashing with the length of the cane. You can also bring this straight up between his legs or up under his chin, and you can turn your hand and just like you put your thumb down at the end of a punch, some fly flying around in my nose, punch out and then turn your thumb down and then bring it down and bring it back. So you can strike with that too. Think about like fighting with swords, right? This is a traditional way to fight with most swords, most styles, but there's also a short sword style, that's hard to say, short sword style where you're fighting with the length coming out of your pinky. So you can fight this way, and you can fight that way. And if you wanted to, you could spend all kinds of time getting comfortable changing your grip with your cane so that you could fight with it either way if you needed to for self-defense. This is simple self-defense stick fighting using your self-defense walking cane, your Cane Masters walking cane. All right, so from this position, I want to go back to the crook facing behind, sliding down, picking it up. I also want you to think about putting your other hand there on the front. And then, hey Garen, it's good to see you. From here, now you have two hands. This is a much more powerful strike than a one-handed strike. You can also make it more accurate. Think about thrusting, turning, striking, turning, and hitting with that side. Adam's here, good to see you, Adam. Adam, I haven't seen you in a long time. Hope you're doing well. So from here, thrust, two-handed thrust, here, here, and here. And then all the variations of that, reaching and hooking with that. You can even, reach it down, you can let it go, you're gonna create some tension here. So you're holding it here, you're putting your hand here. Garen says, nice cane, thank you, Garen. This is the Cane Masters canes. They always make a nice, pretty cane if you ask for it. You create tension here by holding it back and then you release. Think about what that would do as it runs into his ankle, smashing and breaking, or at least taking his foot out from under him. Maybe you just reach out and dig that into his thigh. My thighs are so tender right now. This one because of the surgery that I had in the hip. And for some reason, lately, the weather's been weird, so it's super tender to touch. If I tag it in there, you can imagine reaching out. And maybe you're sitting on the bench, you have a cane in your lap, and he's coming down on top to try to smash you with something, hit you with a chunk of concrete or a skateboard, and you can block with your cane, you can push with your cane, you can also strike with that cane, either side, kind of Irish stick fighting style. I want to show you my exercise band. Adam asked what are the nunchucks made of that are on the store online. Adam, there's going to be several kinds. If they're super lightweight, you're not going to be able to hit anything with them. Those are more for demonstration. So you put the length of the cane in front of your chest. The band goes behind you. And now you have a standing push-up, or you have a bench press in your garage for about $12 when you get this band and attach it to your cane. And then you're gonna just start to push. This is gonna start to build some power into your chest, into your arms, your shoulders, your triceps, your forearm, your grip's gonna get stronger. But you do it for time under tension. Yeah, Garen says chest press, it's like a machine. But Adam, you can, on that website, some of them are made out of metal, some are wood. It's either metal or wood. They're all either metal or wood. Oh, and they also have foam. You can get foam ones on there too. After about 30 seconds, your arms are gonna start burning, and then you're going to rest. And you're not doing this to look good on the beach, you're doing this to get the muscles to defend yourself and your family. After you've done that for a while, or you've rested for about 30 seconds, caught your breath, then you're gonna push down. This is gonna activate the lower part of your chest so that as you go through the full range of motion with all your strikes, you're powerful all the way through every range of motion. You can do all this while you're standing or sitting in a chair, as long as you move to the edge of the bed or the edge of the chair, you have room to push it. You do that for 30 seconds, and then you just let it sit there and rest. Almighty Cornholio is here. Hey, Almighty, good to see you. And then from here, after you've rested the second time, yeah, Garen says you can put it lower in the back and pushing up. Now you're hitting the top part of your chest and more of the front of your shoulders, your anterior deltoids. My arms are starting to really burn. The backs of the arms are getting sore, for lack of a better word, worn out from the exercise. I'm kind of pushing them together. You can rest up to like 2 minutes. And then you can bring it up to your forehead. And this one, I think I can do it that way, but I think it's a little bit easier if you start with your hands a little closer together. This is gonna really focus on the triceps, the upper part of your arm. But you gotta keep your arms up above your chest as you push just simply away. After you do that, and then rest. Yeah, Garen says that helps with punching up. Think about, again, this is not to look good on the beach. This is so that if someone's trying to take from you your life, your freedom, your dignity, and you have to fight back for self-defense, every position, range of motion is strong and powerful because of these exercises. The question is, where can you get the cane that I'm holding? Go to the website that's in the link. It's the first link. It says Cane Masters. Go there and then you customize your cane. You can get something like a starter cane, the Dojo cane, or you can get any version above this. This is gonna be your least expensive option. What I'm holding is gonna be kind of middle expensive. And these, and some of the ones I have over there, are super expensive. But you can see I don't use them that often. I like to use the simple canes personally. But some people will invest a lot of money in a beautiful cane, and the more you invest in it, usually the more you're gonna use it. So you're gonna throw your hips back like you're sitting down in your chair, and then you're gonna curl for your biceps. And here I like to do 3 different ranges too. I do my hands on the outside of the band, my hands on the inside, after you rest. You wanna 30 seconds, and go time under tension. As we get older, the body responds better to how long you do it, not how many repetitions that you do. So you wanna go 30 seconds up to 2 minutes, but 2 minutes is gonna burn you out. So 30 seconds here is usually enough. If you can't do 30 seconds, work up to it. Bend the knees, hands inside the band. That's gonna hit a different part of your bicep muscle. And the bicep muscle, that's your punching muscle. The tricep and the bicep. And when you do it right, the chest and the back and the whole body, but make sure you work on that too. And then finally, the third one that I like to do, you can do any variation you want, is bring my hands back to the outside of the band, bring the bands a little bit closer, but palms down. And then this is really gonna work on your forearm and your ability to hold your cane stronger. So you're gonna create a vice grip with your hands and your arms by adding these band exercises in. And then you can use this band for your legs, for your back, for all kinds of other things too. But I wanted you to see how you can get stronger, more effective, powerful strikes with your simple self-defense stick, your Cane Masters walking cane, using the band. I've never used a bull worker. Not sure if that was for me or for Hank. Anyway, that's pretty. That band's brand new, so it's leaving some marks everywhere from the latex or whatever it's made out of. Those are tough bands. I put a link below in the description too. If you need a set of resistance bands, or if you need a Cane Masters walking cane. Hank, I don't know either. Look in the description. In the description, you'll find the links to both of those. If you have any questions or comments, put it in the comment section. Oh, I was dying for my cane earlier today. I couldn't reach it. It was in the back. I had moved it because I had some things on my seat. Normally, my cane, I have a cane that sits in my car on the passenger side when no one's sitting there. And it's for when I get out and pump gas, I can pump gas with one hand and have my self-defense tool in the other hand. Now, where I get gas, I usually have a self-defense tool here also. And I always have my blade on me, and there are some other self-defense tools I have in my car. But I couldn't reach this, and I wanted to scratch my back. This is probably the most effective back scratcher that I've ever used and ever had. I don't know why I wanted to put that in there, but I'm so itchy tonight because it's super humid, and I think winter's almost over down here in Southern Florida. Anyway, super effective for that, but you can't beat the Cane Master self-defense canes. It's the gold standard of self-defense canes. There are other companies that try to knock them off and make them for cheaper, but you get what you pay for, and it's generally not worth it because the other ones break too easily, or yeah, this one's hickory, Hank, and they don't look as nice, they don't feel as nice, they don't last as long. And I was buying these other canes and I'd break them so after a while I was hitting them so hard, I was breaking them like one a week in a class, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then I had seen the Cane Masters canes, but I hadn't used them. I'd used them at workshops, but I didn't have one. So I got one, and I've never gone back. You buy one of these, I've had this for 4 or 5 years now, and nothing. The only thing, there's some knife marks on it because we've practiced that knife against cane, but other than that, it's a beauty, and it lasts, and I've hit things with it thousands and thousands of times. So which one you like is up to you. Again, if you're looking for one with a palm rest, I think this is really good. Yeah, Garen says you can make one out of rebar for exercise. I've learned over the years, as I got older especially, just a decent heavy cane, like a simple cane, but not super heavy. Because super heavy is, if you pull a muscle, especially if you think about all these small muscle groups, right? These are big muscle groups. These are big muscle groups, big muscle groups. Back is big muscle groups, but that's small. Shoulders, upper arm, forearm, hands, fingers. And you get too heavy and you rip something in there, you're gonna be paying for it, or even pull it, paying for it for a long time. So you can create, it's just like today. I was at the gym, and all of the young children at the gym are sitting on the equipment. I'm saying, I'm gonna do a set here, I'd like you to move over there. You're just sitting there kind of watching your buddy, you're having tea time or something, I don't know what you're doing. But get off the machine. The men are here, we're gonna do a workout real quick. I'm sort of being facetious, but not really, that kind of happened. But my point is, I forgot my point. You don't need to go super heavy. I know what it was. There's one striking bag. And all my bags, because I closed the dojo for a while and I'm in my garage, I don't have a bag in the garage. And I wanted to throw some elbows, right? I want to stay, because I'm getting ready to teach self-defense. And I teach 3 things. I put on your helmet and the basic elbow strikes, and then grabbing your hand and smashing and moving them back, especially if you're older. These are super simple, effective self-defense techniques. Covering your head, smashing with 2 hands, driving the elbows, all the different kinds of elbow strikes. And I wanted to use the bag so that I can put power in my strikes. Now, if you don't have a bag, strike in the air. So I just moved over because there was no room with the bag, because they were having a picture session or whatever they were doing, and a posing session, that's what it is. All the young boys in there with their shirt off, posing in the mirror in front of the bag. So I just took a different corner so I can practice my hand techniques. And it's not as good as hitting a bag, but don't not do it because you don't have a bag. Just practice what you have is my point. Anyway, you guys have been awesome. Thank you for being here. And if you need a cane, check the description, and I'll